So we've got two items on here that's going to be going on the website this weekend. Now, what are these? These are actually brake ducts or brake cooling ducts for the front of a Mark II Golf, big bumper cars. The diameter of this is 60 mil. So you can get a 60 mil flexi hose and you can then feed air from the lower front grille, here, if you wanted to, or you can get these kind of replacements. The picture here of kind of like a vent. So if you don't have fog lights, you can cut it out. If you do have fog lights, you want to replace them, you can. If you want to keep the fog lights, you can, like I said, just kind of feed it in and cable tie and kind of hold the flexi pipe here, which then feeds, as you can see on this G60, it bolts where it should go. There's like a little cutout on these. Most of these, I think all Mark IIs that have the inner wheel arches will have this kind of cutout, and as you can see, the angle goes straight to the brake disc area. And then, like I said, you could put a flexi hose in there and it feeds straight off to there or straight onto where the fog light would go. And here's the other side. And even though this has got the brake cooler pipes, it still fits quite well. So they're going to be going on the website. And then what you're going to see later on in this project is you can see this. I'm going to go for the old style Type 19 central console or gear surround and stuff, and I want to kind of fit two VDO gauges. I'm going to have the oil pressure and oil temp in there and run the wires under the carpet. So that's what that is going to be, as well as I've also made these little holders that go, they're on the website already actually, these little holders. Do I have any here? Yeah, I made these little holders. These are kind of like a kind of a spacer, an adapter that goes, so you can put your electric windows, if you have them, up by the your hazard switch or your fog light switch, your rear demister switch. You can fit them up on there, so you still got access to them by the steering wheel there. So these are going to go on the website today, as well as that is as well. Basically that is going to be just literally cut the holes, put it in, and then when you put the gauges in, you should have a little bracket, or you can make up a little bracket that goes on the back of your gauge. Let me show you. So, you know, if you've got video gauges, most gauges will have something like this on the back. This has actually got a plastic, this has got like a little grommet on here. And basically what you have is a bracket like that. The purpose is that you kind of drill the hole, put it in, and then with two little M4s, I think they are. And it literally just holds then the gauge in place. I mean, this one's going to have to be modified because obviously the gap difference, so I'll probably have to trim them to around there. But as you can see, or you could just make something up really, just bend up a bit of metal, drill two holes in it, and it literally just clamps on, and it literally holds the gauge in place as well as hold the trim in place, nice and sturdy, job done. But to actually see this fitted, wait till the end of the video, and you'll see what it looks like in the car. All right, enough of this. Let's get back onto Project Freebie and get this 1.4 ABD high performance or Super 1400 up and running. It's going to be the gear selector. So because I converted this car to hydraulic and cable selector, and it had the O2J setup, I luckily still had the original box laying around. Now I'm going to have to re-weld some of the bits I cut off, as well as this bush here was missing. So I've with my 3D printer printed up a nylon bush that fits snugly into there, like so. And then also I've got the new bush for there, because that looks like that's on its way out. So yep, so I've just got to dismantle this, pull the shaft out all the way, put that in, and then actually give this a clean of the paint as well. It looks in terrible condition.
So this is what I did was I kind of cut this and kind of bended it out of the way so that I could get the O2J style Mark IV selector in there. But luckily I kept it. Now all I need to do really is just weld up those spots on there, and it should be back to normal hopefully. Let's get the welder out. So bow selector, I have the selector in. So that's one thing done. Now I can put the heat shield on and start making up the exhaust system. Done the exhaust, and what I did is I've got myself a GTI 8 valve 51mm 2-inch exhaust system, 2-box, which is going to be more than enough for this 1.2 because I don't want to kind of lose airspeed. It's just kind of just an aftermarket 2-inch system with straight pipe at the front there, and the middle box, back box with the GTI tailpipe. So that's kind of the exhaust sorted. I still can't get over how nice this interior looks with these Ricaras in here. So the fuse box is down. I didn't put it up because I'm gonna have to drop the pedal box, because this is actually running a Passat B3 which had the hydraulic clutch pedal, and I've got nowhere to put actually a normal cable on there, clutch cable. The accelerator would have worked perfectly, but unfortunately again I'm gonna have to remove the pedal box as a whole unit so that I can actually, like I said, the main reason is for the clutch. So here's the pedal boxes side by side, as I've shown you guys previous times. The only difference this time is that I'm actually taking off the Passat type and actually fitting on back the original Mark II one. And the main reason why is this clutch pedal here just doesn't have enough movement or even a hook to put the clutch cable that fits on there. That is the main reason why I'm actually replacing that. So I'm going to put that back on the shelf. Also noticed that on this one there's like a little grommet that sits on there. Now here it is here. It's actually loose. I'm actually going to see if I can actually 3D print this up to get it on this. Obviously when it kind of slides onto there, but as you can see it's, you know, 40 years old, and yeah, it just sits loose and it's just going to fall off again like so. So take some quick measurements, put this in the 3D printer. Replacement, that's the original one. It's got loads of play, and this is the new one, and it fits in quite snugly. There we go. Nice. Right, so I'm almost ready to get this in. Due to me actually taking this off, there's like a little grommet that goes around here that actually centralizes this. I've actually removed that and I don't know where that is, so I'm going to just 3D print something up now, which is basically this size to the size that's on the car, so it kind of centers it. I'm going to put that in, so that's going to be, and that's going to take about 36 minutes. And here is the finished bush. It's nice to fit on there. It's also big enough that it actually fits through with that, will sit inside there as it should, like so. So it doesn't actually stop it. And then that'll rest up against the bulkhead, then I'll put some sealer on there. The job done. Replaces the standard bush that was on there. That centralizes it, as well as obviously stops fumes and stuff and coming into the car. Alright, so finally let's get this actually fitted now. So back onto the engine bay. I've done the pedal box, changed that pedal so it's ready to bleed, but let me just get on with a few things I want to get on with here. I've actually changed the cap. I found one that had the black plastic cover on it. I much prefer that. Also a little clip. I love my my little kind of hose and clip management. So yeah, I got this as an OEM part that fits there perfectly. Yeah, so throttle body's done now. I've done the gasket for it. I had to make one up. Now I've engineered a little cover for my little kind of airbox setup that I'm going to have here with the GTD airbox, which just flows more than enough than I need it to. So because the kind of the bolts are here, the screw holes are here, this has got an O-ring, kind of machined it, well, printed into it. Just bolt that down, and then this other part here, there's a groove in there, and this is a really snug fit. So with the O-ring in there, it will, let me take it off actually so I can show you. As you can see, it's really a nice fit. So it's got an O-ring in there, but also I'm going to put maybe a bit of sealant on there, and that shouldn't really move off there. Should be hopefully
quite nice, and that way I don't have kind of a bolt hole going through it and restricting the airflow straight through the middle of it, because that's kind of where it is. But yeah, so let me get this off and show you guys what it actually looks like all mounted up. Also make sure, put some thread lock. I don't want these dropping into the throttle body and into the inlet manifold. So now it's bolted on. It's got sealant on there as well, just in case. And that's the fit there. Now this is the original 1.4 Mark III pipe, which also has an O-ring in here and in there. And it fits there. And as you can see, I'm a little bit short here. Yeah, I think it was actually that way around. So I'm pretty impressed with that. That looks really nice, and OEM, it looks like it's going to flow quite well as well as have the flex that it needs with the engine moving. Pretty cool. So what I'm going to do now is just going to seal this up here and put some, clean this pipe up properly and put some clamps on there. So now I finished with the intake system. I also 3D printed a little bit there to hold, I don't know if you guys can see it, the power steering pipes. And also now I've actually got the painted up the fan cowling and got a fan in, 2-speed fan. So we're literally all ready to go. I've got a timing light set up already, and also before I want to get this running, I want to get my oil pressure gauge and oil temperature gauge and those 3D printed things that you saw at the beginning. Let's move over to the bench, show you what I've actually made, and let's get that wired up before we actually get it started to make sure we've got good oil pressure and all the rest of it. And then we can kind of get the laptop, make sure the timing's right, and then start mapping this. So use this actually as a guide, drill the holes. I had to could only find a 50 mil, not 52 mil. That's got like a sanding disc, and clean this up with a Dremel to fit perfectly. So now literally goes in like this, and then hopefully with a little bit of a push we can get these in like so. Look at that. And it's such a tight fit, it's actually holding the cages in place. I mean, I will secure them. Straighten this one up. Wow, that's quite tight actually. That's quite a nice fit. But yeah, so now I can just do the wiring and just get like, you can use these bolts here, get like a little bracket, and you can screw those on like a little kind of U-shaped bracket on there. Or you can just use one, go straight across actually, and do both of them so they're both straight. Then in that way, and literally just have a bigger U that goes across there with all 4 holes. So now I'm just going to wire this up and get this fitted. I think that looks pretty cool. And the oil pressure. Now these small block engines have the oil pressure here on the head, high and low. Nothing on the oil filter housing. The oil filter actually goes straight into the block. So you're kind of limited on what you can do with oil temp as well as the oil pressure. To a degree, you can just screw the sensor in the sender. So I've got that, but luckily I've actually got a T, so I can put the oil temp one on the side so I can read the temp and the pressure from the same place. So hopefully this will clear here. Yep, give it a quick brush in the paint so it looks a lot nicer and neater and in keeping with the rest of the motor. So if that in, it clears perfectly. It's a bit tight there, but it's fine. Run the wires through the bulkhead, and now let's do the inside. And I've run some wiring up here, which is, let me just show you guys. So I've already run earth, key 12 and illumination lights here, and those are the 2 wires that you just saw me run through, which is oil pressure and oil temp. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the central console. This is the look we're going for. And we unplug the electric windows and the cigarette lighter as well. Get around the back here. There we go. One plug. There we go. Got that off. Put this seat back. Look at the skills with one hand. Alright, let's get this up. So this is the look I'm going for. Now what have I got down here? I forgot I had these amp wires running through. Gonna have to sort those out. Let's sort out these wires first, which is for the electric windows. So these are going to go up there. Now remove these two blankers, and what I've done is I 3D printed these little adapters. So basically they go into there and they fit in there smooth, and then it takes up the space for the electric window switch. So let me just do that for you. I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, so I've got the adapters in, and all the switches plugged in, so they're a tight fit on here. So a nice interference fit. There we go. Last one in. And then the second one in. There we go. Make sure it's all the way through. And now with these springs that are on the switches, when you put them in, it actually makes a nicer fit actually. There we go. And there you have it. And they don't move or rattle, or they won't come off, and they're really tightly in there, as you saw. So that's kind of freed this up. Now I'm gonna have to tidy up these wires here, especially this amp wire. So I've run the wires through. So those are for the sensors, all temp and all pressure. That's power, ignition, earth, and also for the lights. And on the back I put the same connectors on there, so that literally is just a matter of just connecting it up. I think I'll have to put the camera down for a second. So I think that definitely looks quite cool. Turn the ignition on, and they get to priming positions to zeros. There you go, we're ready to go on. Yeah, pretty cool. Now this here looks a bit empty. Obviously I need to put the trays underneath, but there's actually a bit of trim now that goes on here so that I don't lose a pocket. It's like an old ashtray, really cool. Can't wait to show you guys. So we're almost done here on the interior. So that looks pretty cool. My heated seats, electric windows, my new central console. So I've got an ashtray there, a little pocket there, a pocket underneath there, and my new motorsport gear surrounds with my little gauges for my lightweight finish. I've almost done now. So with my G60 steering wheel in leather, I've got a new horn push. You even spot the difference. Yeah, it just got the little horn symbol on there. That's all it is. It's just off a later car. I think that's quite cool. Okay. ECU plugged in. All the rest of those bits we saw earlier on is all plugged in. Oil pressure and temps all plugged in. Wired up, ready to go. Let's turn the key. Let's see if it fires up. I've kind of put a basic map in there. Should get it running, hopefully. Let's go. Okay. Ignition off, ignition on. Make sure it's in neutral. Come on, baby. Here we go, it's coughing. Oh wow, that's really cool. Will it idle? Oh yeah. Badly, oops. But yeah. Okay, that's cool, it idles. Alright, and I seem to have oil pressure. Unfortunately, I've got, there is different gauges and different senders. So this is a 0 to 10 bar, and the sender is actually a 0 to 5 bar, so it basically doubles up. So if I'm showing 10, it's actually not got 10 bar, it's actually 5 bar. So on cold, that's really good oil pressure. How does the exhaust sound? Yeah, it's got some good pressure around there. Wow, it's impressive. And that's it, guys. So this is it for today's video. Join me in the next episode where we'll be getting this on the ramp because there's an exhaust blow. We're going to check for oil leaks, water leaks, and then we're going to take this for its first test drive and start mapping this under 3000 because it says on the information for the cam, don't rev it very hard for the first 500 kilometers or whatever it is. So yeah, got to take it easy, but join me for that, where we'll be cruising around in my little Super 1400 and get first impressions of how this performs. All right, guys, please subscribe, like, share. Peace out, guys.